Discover Denton. I'm Kim Phillips. We're coming to you today from the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. And we have a new topic today, something we've never talked about on the show, but something that's very, very important to our community. And that is looking at Denton through a kid's eyes. So today I have with us two moms who are going to give us some ideas for what kids see when they look at Denton Original Independent. And not only the kids, because a lot of times kids, don't really know what they like or don't like till their moms expose them to it. So these moms are going to give us kind of the inside scoop on doing Dentoning, if you will, in a kid's way. So let me introduce my guest today, Tessa Morin. Tessa's one of our moms. Tessa, how old are your kids?
I have two sons. One is 9 and one is 5.
Okay, and you've been in Denton for how long?
Ooh, since 2000.
So your kids' whole lives?
Yes.
So you know Denton backwards and forwards from a kid's point of view, right? Had plenty of time to figure it out first before the kids came along.
Exactly. Came here as a college student, so kind of shift our emphasis when the kids came along and discover other fun things to do in Denton.
That does change things, doesn't it? It does change your perspective on what you like to go out and do.
Absolutely.
Now, Tessa's name may sound familiar to some of you because Tessa is a blogger, and she blogs on our Discover Denton website, in our blog there, as well as other places where people are looking for kid-friendly things to do. So if you know Tessa Morin's name, that's why. Let me introduce our other guest, Julie Bryant. Julie, tell us how old your kids are.
Hi. Yes, my children are 2 and 4. My son is our oldest, and my daughter is 2, and they keep me busy. They're at the age now where we're really looking for things that we can do as a family, and we found a lot here in the community, so we're very thankful for that.
She's a fun one to have on the show today. Julie actually interned here at the Convention and Visitors Bureau way back when she was in school. Well, I make it sound like she's ancient. When she was still a student here at UNT, she interned public relations.
Yes.
Wasn't that your degree plan?
Yes.
And so she did a lot of work for us in that realm, did some writing and press releases and so forth. But now she's got the greatest full-time job in the world, being a mom.
Absolutely.
And loving every minute of it.
Love it.
So both of these ladies have been in Denton long before their kids came along, and we're enjoying Denton from the perspective that a lot of our listeners do. But you know what? A lot of our listeners are also at that age where they're just beginning to think about families. Maybe they're newly married or have kids on the way or whatever, and they really are having to say, okay, everything I've always loved about Denton, I still love it, but how can I love it with my kids? So let's start there. As adults, we talk a lot about Denton Original Independent, and we refer to the music scene, the nightlife scene, universities, our horse country tours. Those are all kind of adult-oriented, though, if you think of it in those terms. So what is Denton Original Independent? What is the scene like when you're a kid?
For us, I feel like it's the variety of things that Denton offers, including all of the festivals and the vibrant downtown area and, everything from different activities at the libraries. It's the story times and, music entertainments and activities there. And goodness, just the variety of activities at the parks, you know. Yeah. It's just really thinking what our kids are attracted to, and we found a lot of that here.
Good. City parks and stuff. Do you take your kids to the park a lot, Tessa?
Often. We have such an amazing park system and such a great variety, as Julie said, and they actually get to choose exactly which park they feel like going to that day. In addition to that, when it's the off season from the universities, like spring break or in the summer when they're not so busy, we'll go walk the universities too, because I think it's important to integrate your children with what makes Denton special, and having 2 universities is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
so, absolutely.
That fuels so much of the creative energy that we have here in the first place from both schools, and not just music, all forms of art.
Absolutely.
So what a great point that exposing your kids to that and to that influence and the importance of that influence. I love that. Do you both, do you see your kids growing up here and then going to the university here, or is it way too far away to think about those things at this point?
Well, my older son, Henry, he actually would like to go to UNT, and he's already picking his major.
Wow.
I'm okay with him leaving Denton if he feels like he wants to when he gets older, but I can't lie. Right now, it seems pretty cool to have him around, and he likes to pick up those apartment magazines that hang out at restaurants.
9?
And yes, and he's already picking his apartment for when he gets to be a student at UNT.
Goodness. So. Maybe he'll surprise you and be like that kid that just enrolled at TCU. He was 11.
Oh, wow.
He's like the youngest student ever on the roster at TCU.
I'm not ready for that yet.
No, I'm not ready for that either.
That would be quite a life change, wouldn't it? Right. Okay, well, as a mom, I'm sure there's certain things that you're looking for that kind of grab your attention on behalf of your kids. What are some of the key ingredients that do that for you? Like when we have over 100 festivals and special events a year. Some probably appropriate for kids and some not. What are those ingredients that set them aside and go, I got to take my kids to that?
Yes, I can tell you absolutely 100% our favorite thing is the Arts and Jazz Festival. And oh my goodness, my son is already asking, when is it time to go to the music fair?
What makes it so special, do you think? Because I know it's my favorite, one of my favorites too. So
for us, I think, we always look for music. Our kids love music. And so of course it provides that. And food is another thing, our kids love the funnel cakes. They call them fuzzy cakes right now. And so anything with fuzzy cakes, we are there. And so we look for music, we look for food, we look for a variety of entertainment, and they also have activities there, whether it's the bounce houses or the big jumbo slides. I think that's really what draws our family to that scene.
So special events are a big deal.
Absolutely.
How about you, Tessa?
They enjoy the special events very much, and they also like the Twilight Tunes events. So they're not once a year. They happen more often, but it's something that we can depend on every Thursday night. When the weather's nice in the spring, we can go just kind of hang out on the courthouse lawn and enjoy some music.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be such a huge production. You just take a picnic or whatever, and they just get to play outside, other kids, other families. To me, Twilight Tunes is one of those, and I kind of thought of that if my kids were still little, Twilight Tunes would be the perfect place to go because you have such a sense of belonging to something bigger than just your family.
Yes,
a community that it builds that sense of community.
Absolutely.
Well, and financially speaking, you can pack your own meal and bring it, or you can check out one of the great little restaurants on the square. So you have options. You don't have to drop $100 to go enjoy some music.
Yeah, and that's easy to do when you get a family of four, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. What are your kids' most favorite Denton activities? I know you both said festivals and music, but are there places that they absolutely just love to go?
Yes. Of course.
Mine love the candy store on the square.
Yes. Oh, Atomic Candy.
They love Atomic Candy. They love Beth Marie's. They love just walking around, the square with the lights at night and, the holiday lighting festivals coming up. And so we just look forward to things like that to take our kids to because, for my husband and I, that's fun for us too. So that's another thing we look for. We look for things that we also enjoy that we can take our kids to, and it's, really a family activity. Yeah. Making memories.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it really takes, something that the entire family is enjoying, It's not just like mom and dad are suffering through this so their kids can have a good time. That really makes it not family oriented.
Right.
So I think Denton does a real good job with that.
Mm-hmm. And you also don't want the kids suffering through so the adults can have a good time. So it's important to find some places that really work well for everyone.
Yeah, I agree with that a whole 100%. So the music scene, you both said your kids love the music. Do you think that the music scene really touches kids? Are there certain bands or certain ways that the music is presented in various situations that make it specifically kid friendly, that draws your kids in to kind of go, wow, I like music? Because I almost kind of remember this moment when I was a kid that I thought, I love the radio. I love the radio. I love the music that's on the radio. It was just like became this all-consuming thing to always have a radio on.
Yes.
I remember getting for Christmas my very first radio to keep in my room. That was a big deal. And so is that the case with your kids? I mean, is there something?
For mine, being the ages they are so young, 2 and 4, they just love anything with a beat. They can dance to anything. And so, of course, we like, music that's appropriate for children. But really, anything musical and with instruments and upbeat and fun, that's really appealing to our kids.
Right. My kids, because they're a little bit older, they do enjoy the children's music when it's specifically aimed at them, but they're also getting their older tastes. And my husband plays in a band locally. It's called My Kick Drum Harp.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so
I know that band. So
right.
that's a
Everybody
Denton
knows that
radio band.
Yes, it
So,
is.
yes.
Yeah, proud to be. And so, they get a little more exposure because they want to go see Daddy play. And so if he's playing at the Square or if he's playing at Banter or someplace that they can go and it's not past their bedtimes, we like to take them and then they get to see other music, whichever bands are playing at the same event. And I think it really helps broaden their scope of music. They get to see such a huge variety in this town. It's amazing, all the different types of music.
Yeah, it really is. And there are some bands out there that are very specifically reaching a kid audience.
Yes.
Right. Just for instance, the Stephen Fight band is having a big performance at TWU. And that's a children's band, but it's just a fun thing that Denton's offering that.
That's
to
cool.
our kids.
Are there other bands that y'all are aware of that are really specifically kid bands? Kid-friendly bands? Miss Polly?
Miss Polly, definitely Miss Polly.
Yeah.
That's a fun show.
I've got one of our friends, one of our CVB very good friends here. He does a lot of work with us, Dave White. He primarily plays with Link Shalon Band, but he often plays with Miss Polly. And he loves doing it. He plays the mandolin and loves playing with the kids because the audience, the response of the kids is so different from what you get with an adult response. And he said sometimes that just keeps him alive, more alive, to watch kids come to life because of music and what he's bringing to that ensemble.
Right.
So that's really neat. So about moms, are there activities, groups, outings that happen around here in Denton that really set us apart as a place, the perfect place to raise a young family? Or moms groups maybe?
Right.
Or
Yeah, there's several moms groups, that just get together during the week for play groups, whether it's, going to the park or, just having an outing somewhere. It's definitely nice to have that support system here for moms and, some that stay at home and some that don't. There's definitely weekend activities and during the week as well. So.
When I had my first child, I joined the Moms Club of Denton, and I believe there are 3 chapters. There's so many moms involved that they had to divide geographically, and it was a great way to meet parents who had children the same age and just have that experience with people. And a lot of them were stay-at-home moms, but not all of them. Some of us worked part-time. And I know there's also a group out there. I have some friends in the tattooed hippie pirate mamas, and so which is very Denton. There's something for everybody here for sure.
There really is. And I love that because, again, we're going back to what we were talking about with Twilight Tunes and some of these others, that sense of community.
Yes, that there really is something for everyone here.
Well, and that's almost a lost experience for young people anymore, to grow up in a place where they have a cognizant understanding of community.
Yes.
Right.
What that means to be part of something bigger, to be kind of sharing life together, all of these families, all of these kids. Our whole, our existence is a shared existence in this city. It's one of the things I love the most about Denton.
Right.
So, Tessa,
Yes.
as a blogger, where do you get the fodder for your blog? I mean, is it from your mom's groups? Is it listening to other moms? Is it friendships like with Julie? Where does that come from?
It's mostly internal. Just Like when you're driving around with your children and something excites them, or you go to a new place and you get really kind of inspired by what people are doing. I always think of this scene in the movie Ghostbusters. Near the end, Winston Zeddemore is standing on the streets of New York and there's marshmallow everywhere, and he throws his arms up and he screams, "I love this town." And I feel that way about Denton sometimes, and that's when I decide to maybe write something involving whatever it is I just got really excited about.
I love that. And the response to your blog is good, too. We've got another section in our blog, and this might be of interest to other parents out there, to invite kids to blog.
Yes.
Even very young kids.
Love that idea.
To blog about, it could be anything that impresses a kid relevant to being a part of this community, Denton. Maybe it's their favorite ice cream, or the time that they got to try 25 flavors while they were standing at the counter with Beth Marie's. I know Beth Marie's is the most patient place in the world when it comes to kids wanting to sample. They really are. They probably will not be happy that I just said that on the radio, is come try all the flavors. But, for a kid, I love the idea of seeing Denton through their eyes.
Yes.
We have a couple of young bloggers. One is 7 and another is 10. They've each done blogs for us. And one of those young ones, when Rusty Tacos had first opened on the square, she decided that was the best taco in the whole wide world. So she did a whole blog essay in her voice, in the way that she would tell it, because we don't want to go back and fix it. We don't want to take the kid out of the blog. And it was really, really awesome to read what she had to say about her favorite taco in the world. And what's really interesting is how Denton comes into play in these kids' expression of that great experience. So parents, you two ladies, but parents out there, let your kids tell us their story. Maybe it's only 2 sentences long. Maybe it's more. Maybe you have to tell it for them at this point in time, but we would love to get that feedback, because that's a vital, vital component of who we are as a community, is these kids among us. Mm-hmm. So the next thing coming up on the horizon for moms looking for some really awesome to take their kids to is going to be holiday lighting.
Yes. Oh, we're very, very looking forward to that. Absolutely.
And that's coming up the first Saturday right after Thanksgiving, which makes it December 6th, I believe. Is it December 6th?
I think so.
Yeah, Friday night. And so everybody head out. That's always fun. Santa's out there. We'll be doing another show, and Holiday Lighting will be our guests on that show to tell us all the nitty-gritty about what's going on. But it is the holiday kickoff for families here in Denton. Wassailfest is a part of that.
Yes.
And it's all very kid-friendly, lots of fun. Hopefully the weather will be nice and cool and make us think Christmas.
Right.
We've had it absolutely freezing, and we've had it where you were in shorts and T-shirts.
Yes.
So, hey, it's Texas, So anyway, but thank you two for taking the time out to be on the show today and tell us about Denton from a mom's perspective and from your kids' perspective. When Jake, of course, all of you listeners out there know that Jake is sitting in this room with me because he produces our show, which we're very thankful for. But when Jake and I were talking about the show, we kind of bounced the idea around, what if we get you guys to bring your kids here? And we started thinking about how wild that could be. We recently shot a video using dogs, and that little bitty short video ended up taking us most of a day trying to control 4 dogs. I can't even imagine it with kids. So this probably worked out to be the better route.
Right.
But I thank both of y'all for taking the time to be here and tell us about Denton through your kids' eyes.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So to Tessa Morin, Julie Bryant, both of you, thanks. Thanks for being on the show. Next week, folks, we're going to be talking Beaujolais. If you're not familiar with it, this is one of those parents' night out kind of events where we sample all kinds of wines and all kinds of foods. It's at the Civic Center. It is the biggest fundraiser of the year for our campus theater here in Denton. So put it on the calendar. It's a week from Thursday. And we'll have Mike Barrow and Kyla Welch from the Campus Theater on the show next week to talk about that. Until then, thanks for being with us. See you next week.